Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. We made it, folks. It is Friday. It is PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, the only diamond and jewelry partner of the Florida Gators. Got a lot going on. We'll have JC, we'll have Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. He'll recap the trip to the White House, talk a little basketball, a little softball. Softball cranks up at 11 o'clock. Golf starts today. Lacrosse plays North Carolina in the semifinals for the national title. If you missed it last night, excuse me, in softball, two upsets already. That's why I say there's parity across college football. Texas Tech goes to Tallahassee, beats the Lady Semis, and the Lady Longhorns go down. The Lady Tigers from Clemson beat them. So the $1 million pitcher is paying off for the Red Raiders. JC, you're on the Titan MRO hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. What's up?
Well, good morning. Yeah, I want to just start with some Florida news that really captivated me here recently. Of course, the Gator golf team in their 58th national championship trip. It's just an extraordinary story. There it is. Yeah, I'm glad you're the only guy who gets to wear that stuff.
Well, I'm part of the booster club.
Okay,
there's plenty of people they'll take your checks as well.
Saw Jack Caglione in his in a AAA game last night for the Omaha Chancers, I believe is what they call it. Hit his first home run as a AAA player. His calling to the Kansas City Royals is imminent, and he will be finishing the year with the Kansas City Royals, which is a great story. And you touched on Chris Harry's trip to Washington, D.C. I just wanted to mention a few things. You know, it was a great trip for the Gator basketball team. Huge delegation that was there. I saw Bondi, I saw Donalds, I saw Scott, I saw Rubio, I saw Moody, I saw K-Mac. It was just tremendously supported. High praise for Elijah Martin and his two free throws from President Trump, I thought was noteworthy against the Houston Cougars. He mentioned that specifically and really gave Elijah some high praise. And, you know, when I think back, and I just want to briefly touch on this, give me a second, QB. This team won the toughest conference in history. They beat 4 AP top 11 teams in the tournament, including 2 number 2 seeds. They trailed by 9 points or more in the second half in their last 3 games. They beat 2 AP number 1 ranked teams. They were 5-0 versus AP top 5 teams, and they were 12-0 to end the season, 10 of which were ranked, and they did this all without a top 100 recruit. So there you have the story of the Florida Gator basketball team. And of course, Todd Golden rewarded with a spectacular, I think, 6-year contract, something like that, that keeps him here in Gainesville, I think, for the long term, which is what everybody wants. And when you look at that lineup going forward, the rotation, if you will, for the basketball team, a lot of the same guys we saw on last year's team with some new faces. Of course, the big news is Flan. And you've got Xavier Lee, these 2 transfers from Arkansas and Princeton. There's also another player from Ohio coming in. You've got a CJ Ingram here. It's just going to be a really exciting time next year for the basketball team. But that's way down the road. And I just had to mention that trip to the White House was so well attended and so happy and upbeat. It was great to see, and I think people should be proud, very proud.
Yep. By the way, Tony wanted you to know on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. They're the Omaha Storm Chasers, JC.
Storm Chasers. I heard the guy say Chancers. I didn't know what a Chancer was. So the Storm Chasers, very good, Tony. I do know it was Omaha, and he hit a home run to tie the game at 3-3. I don't know if they won or not, but it's not really about winning or losing games. I think it's about achieving things that will get you to the next level, which of course is the major leagues, and he is on his way there. It will be within, I'm sure, a couple of weeks when we see him in a Kansas City Royals uniform. The Royals are a team that does have a chance for the postseason, so it's not going to be something to just play out. They're going to actually try to win something this year, so that's great.
Yeah, Shooter says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, the story of the Texas Tech coach in softball is amazing. It really is. He was like a high school coach or coached his daughter's teams. Then he was an assistant, then went to Louisiana. Now he's the head coach at Texas Tech. In year one, has them one game away from their first trip to OKC, and they went out and got the $1 million pitcher. So
There you go.
very interesting in today's world.
Well, I'll tell you what else I found interesting, QB. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I don't see why you wouldn't. We had the Big Ten and the SEC meeting, and what we thought would happen has basically happened. And that is top 4 seeds are going to get first-round buys regardless of whether or not the football team wins the conference or their respective conference titles. And conference champions will still get auto bids. But the seeding is going to be based on ranking, which I think is appropriate based on what we saw last year. The final year of the 12-team playoff will be upcoming. And then when 2026 hits, I don't think there's any question we're going to see 14 to 16 teams expand. I don't care if people like it or not. They're still going to watch it. It's going to be very popular. It's going to be exciting. The only thing I wish they would tweak is that the top seeds get a home game. A home game matters. It should be a reward for being a top seed, not a trip to one of 3 different or 4 different neutral sites. But maybe they'll talk about that later. I think it also means that we're going to see conference championship games somewhat be marginalized. I know that kills you because you love the SEC championship more than anything else, but I
They ain't getting rid of that.
No, I didn't say they're going to get rid of it, but it's going to be different because if you have 4 SEC teams and 4 Big Ten teams that are going to automatically be placed in and a 4-4-2-2-1 or 4-4-2-2-3 format, then that SEC championship game will not have to be won because both teams who make the SEC
that is very true. But as Coach Furry has always said,
they want to win the conference.
You can look at the Todd Golden's philosophy as well. They went and won the SEC basketball tournament.
Yeah,
they didn't even win it.
That's fine,
but,
and that's fine.
There will be a banner hanging, and they will always be called the SEC champs.
Oh,
you will get rings and all that stuff. As Coach Furry always says, you can't take money to your grave, but you can take championships to your grave, JC. Compete, JC. Learn to compete.
Well, if we had this system last year, Texas and Penn State would have received first-round buys. Boise State would have gone from 3 to 9. Arizona State would have gone from 4 to 11. Now, Arizona State should get credit for the way they represented their top 4 seed because, frankly, they should have beaten Texas. They had Texas on the ropes. Everybody saw the game, knows that. But Arizona State lost. Now, Boise State was never even in the game, and there's no way they should have been a 3 seed. I think this little tweak is appropriate for 2025, and then in 2026, it is undoubtedly going to go 14 to 16 teams, which then means, as far as we're concerned, the SEC is absolutely going to 9 games.
Yeah.
And Walton got me my bell. The bell from the radio show.
Yeah.
What
do you ring the bell for when you make good points?
A poignant point that is captivating and thought-provoking. And Sam Walton, the first lady of Gator softball, came through big time with a little Amazon delivery.
You don't think she stole that from the Hidden Oak Elementary teacher?
No. It came in an Amazon bag, Jack.
Oh,
so
Sam spending some money for JC.
Well, Sam loves me, but I think that Sam is a great ambassador for Gator sports, and of course for her husband's softball team, who we're going to be rooting very hard for here in the next couple of weeks. This is the best time of the year.
They tee it up. First pitch is in less than 3 hours.
Right, against the Mercer Fighting Bears.
No,
not the Mercer Bears. Who are they playing?
They're playing the Georgia Bulldogs.
The softball in the SEC.
No, they're playing in the Super Regional.
Super Regional. They already
City.
Won the regional. See, that just tells you.
Have another drink or whatever the hell you're drinking,
Well,
JC.
I've been out of town for a week. Excuse me. I for some reason, he had Mercer on my brain because of how
we beat Mercer.
Intense he was about the Mercer Bears when we had him on the air. I beg your pardon, folks. Sorry about that. But I was out of town. I should.
Shooter McGavin on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumber, says, is Todd Golden coaching the Olympic team? No. I don't know where that came from.
Okay. The Olympic team? Really?
Yeah. This is a text from Ronnie in Knoxville, Tennessee. He says, good morning. Without Badger, DK, and Montreal Johnson, which three skill position players do you expect to be our most productive pass catchers this year? I think Montreal had good hands coming out of the backfield. I'm not crazy about the other guys at this moment, other than Katie Daniels at the running back position. But wide receivers, we got enough guys there. I think you'll see Vernell's kid, Trey Wilson, Dallas Wilson, the transfer Sturdivant from UCLA. We got dudes there.
Dallas Wilson. Dallas Wilson's the answer to that question that you took a minute and a half to answer. Dallas Wilson.
No, because he was asking about positions, JC, not just one position.
Well, I thought you said wide receiver.
He said three skill positions.
Okay. Well, I like Dallas Wilson. I like Jaden Ball, and I like, of course, I like the quarterback. But the running back is missing.
So there was a lot of, when you get on Twitter now with all this nonsense, there's so much fake stuff out there in today's world. It was just a fake post. Somebody sent me a post the other day saying how it was like Tim Tebow is now going to be the new athletic director and general manager of football or something along those lines. Like, people.
He was at the White House. By the way, he was at the White House too.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Chris why he was there. I know he's trying to pass a bill about something else.
Well, he's not a congressman, but he's definitely somebody who was there for the basketball celebration. He's kind of
he wasn't there for that. He was there for something else. Just happened to the Gators rolling down, so he participated.
Good, outstanding. Yeah, he's kind of like an ambassador of Florida sports, very much so.
Yeah, I think he's trying to pass a very worthy.
Do you know what kind of bill?
Yes, it's about child something. Somebody on here can tell me. I'm not smart enough to know all that stuff, but it's a good bill. Do you know?
Sounds good. No, it's first I heard about it. I was just curious why Tim was there, but it doesn't matter. In all sorts of weather, they all come together, right? Isn't that in the song? So there they are in D.C. with 47. And they all had smiles on their faces.
Electronics World Integration and Design Specialist for Smart Home Automation and Entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Check them out. Electronics World.
What about
net?
You watch?
It's about missing children, JC.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very
along those lines. Thanks for the text. That was Kevin on the Titanamore text.
What did you watch on TV last night?
What did I watch on TV last night? I actually watched. I had a lot going on. I was busy, but I had the TV on. I watched the semis get upset. I watched old girl throw a two-hitter, the $1 million pitcher. She also hit a home run, by the way. Stanford wouldn't let her hit, so she goes to Texas Tech, and she's hitting and pitching. I watched a little bit of. I watched about, I'd say, a total quarter of the basketball game. I watched a few minutes of the hockey game, and I went to bed very early, JC.
These dudes are going to win it back to back if they keep playing like this. They have won their last 3 games in blowouts. Game 7 against Toronto and the first 2 games against Carolina, where they've absolutely just demolished the Hurricane. It's almost like they're playing with their food out there. The Florida Panthers are up 2-0 with 2 to go, and I've got a ticket in hand for the Eastern Conference winner at Florida plus 325 and the Stanley Cup winner, Florida Panthers plus 700. I've also got a ticket in pocket for the Dallas Stars, Stanley Cup winner at plus 550. So if I get Dallas and Florida in the finals, Stanley Cup finals,
you can hedge.
Well, I've got 2 winners. One's going to win, one's not, but one's guaranteed a winner. Now, if Edmonton beats Dallas, I'll win a little less, but I also have them in pocket to win the Stanley Cup. So Edmonton, Dallas, and Florida all at huge odds. Got them about 3-4 weeks ago, and that's when you have to do it. You have to do it early if you want to get the better numbers. And so the long number on Florida at plus 700, that'll never come back. And right now, the way they're playing, they have to be considered the favorite to repeat. They physically manhandled Carolina. And while we were already sure of the outcome in the Oklahoma City game, because the basketball playoffs has turned into the Oklahoma City Open. Okay, that's what it is. They're going to win it. But while that scrimmage was going on, we had real men playing on the ice spitting chicklets. Okay, it was incredible to watch the physical nature of that hockey game, and Florida took it to the Carolina Panthers, or Carolina Hurricanes, who, by the way, are a very big team. Florida had no business, no problem with them, and so took care of their business. They go up 2-0. They're going to win the Eastern Conference, and then they're going to play in the Stanley Cup against Dallas or Edmonton.
Yeah. Karen says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, Tim's deal is a child sex trafficking bill.
Okay, well,
31M Burr says,
cool.
quote, it's a good bill, but I know nothing about it, end quote. Shane should be a senator.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's about how it is. Isn't Nancy Pelosi the one who said, you don't need to read the bill until after we pass it? So sit down. Yeah, I'm Nancy Pelosi. So anyhow, that was a great tweet there. What Ember just sent you.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. He gets a ring.
There we go. Well, our Peachland Dental golf picks right now.
How's that looking?
Well, I will tell you, I'm looking to see if we have anybody. I have Andrew Novak, who is tied for 11th. He is our highest.
Colonial.
I didn't take JT Postner. I take Harrison.
No, you did not take JT Postner.
I took Harrison. I get those two confused. They're the same.
They have the same mannerisms. They basically don't. They are just. They look straight ahead. They don't look either way.
Scotty Scheffler is 200 par, and he's 5 shots back of.
Oh, he's only 5 back
of John Pack.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. So Sheff is only 5 strokes back. Go ahead and put him in.
John Pack.
John Pack.
He is he
first round leader.
You know where he's from? Where he played his college?
No, but he's the typical first round leader.
He's a semi.
Okay, well, cool. The Seminoles.
Yeah. So,
QB, I'm so excited about the college baseball regionals about to crank. I got Florida in one of 3 ACC schools. This is from the great Kevin Brockway. He's got Florida going to either Georgia Tech, according to some source of his. Then there's, of course, the Chapel Hill regional, which I talked about a month ago, so he should be quoting me. And then the Tallahassee regional he's got from the USA Today.
We ain't going there.
I don't see that, but I do see a possibility of Raleigh, North Carolina with NC State, possibly. But I think
Georgia or Atlanta for Georgia Tech.
It's going to be Georgia Tech or it's going to be Chapel Hill if they don't host, and that's what I think we're looking at. But man, I hate the fact that they've got to do it without so many players who got hurt. But that's okay. They're a tough team, and they'll see through it. I guess. I just wish Luke Heyman was playing.
I wish a lot of our players were playing.
Yeah, me too.
Battle. Cal says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. I saw this too, and I actually even responded to it. I saw on Twitter Trump signed a bill to stop the ooh, ah, and won't back down. Yes, I saw that, and I said, I support this bill 100,000,000%, even if whatever that. I cannot stand, Jason, we talked about this the other day, I think with Buddy Martin.
Okay.
The won't back down when the student section does the ooh ah, it drives me. It gives me the like when you get the chalkboard.
Yeah, the willies.
I just can't stand it.
So there was legislation. I mean,
no, it's a joke.
It's a joke, right? So
it's a joke because Trump has a million executive orders.
I didn't think that was serious.
And somebody put it on Twitter to stop the ooh ah, and I was like, let's support this.
Yeah. Well, QB, you just got to get up and go to the bathroom between the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah. Gene on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, QB, you talk UF's lacrosse playing today. Yes, I mentioned that at the beginning of the program, Gene. You gotta chime in for the entire segment.
You think Gene is a lacrosse booster?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you think Gene's a football booster?
Yes.
He is?
I think he is.
Okay. Do you think Gene's a football booster?
I think the whole family, the Arnold Empire, the dynasty, if you will, the Arnold dynasty is a football supporter for sure. Old man Ronnie's going to certainly support his football.
Right. Yeah. Well, but you didn't answer the question. I said, is Gene?
Gene's kind of running the shop. I hope anyway. I know he basically lives in that trailer, and God bless him. He's a hardworking, blue collar American, red blooded.
You need some dirt and you need some gravel.
I tell you, the job, I will say this about Gene. The job he did on that road between University and 8th Avenue, I don't know what it's called, 20 something. Anyway, that road is one of the best made roads I've ever put tires on. And that was Gino and Co. taking care of the good people of Gainesville and the commuters. And that road between, just go out there and drive it today, QB, right between University and 8th Avenue. That's a Gino special. And he knows his stuff. Great mechanical engineer, that Gino. And civil engineer. Actually, it would be civil engineering, excuse me. But he is a loyal viewer of this program. We have so many of them. And we're very grateful.
I know Gene does need to be a Florida golf booster, though.
Yes, yeah. And that
he likes gear. We'll take good care of him.
I think I'm going to do it, QB. I'm going to do it in July. That's when I get like a paycheck or something. And I'm going to run down there with you one day.
Take all your winnings from the Stars and the Panthers.
That's true. Well, I leave all that in the account for future football excitement. But QB, I'm going to come down there when you're down there getting ready to play, and I'm going to go buy up stuff. So, and join the boosters. How's that? You excited?
You got to do that online. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, where proud member Stephen Orr Spurrier banks. This day is
maybe you go in the lobby and see him there waiting for a banker.
He does
with a CD or something.
He sits there and shakes hands and kisses babies. When
I'm sure he's looking for the highest CD rates out there. I'm sure he'll ball in there. You might find him one day. Get a picture as he's buying another CD.
In 2021, the PGA Championship at the Ocean Course, Kiowa Island, Phil Mickelson becomes the oldest player or major winner in history at age 50. And that's the last damn thing he's won.
Yeah, but it was a great achievement. I played that course 2 weeks.
Was he on the – they didn't have the that was in 2021. There was no live then, right?
Nope, there was not.
Listen to who he beat.
I remember.
Who?
I remember Phil winning.
Okay, he beat Brooks Koepka and Louis Oosthuizen, who are now on the live.
Yeah, and basically living in anonymity, but –
well, Louis lives. He plays his golf down there at Golden Ocala.
Yeah, that's.
You can go down there and get a little $5 Nassau with Louis.
$5 Nassau with Louis and a CD with Coach. Man, we've got some financial discussions here.
JC, John wants you to know on this show is just a disaster today.
I think it's great. We've got
John on YouTube
today.
Brought to you by Quality Plumbing says 8th and University run parallel.
No, I know. It's the road that takes you from one to the other. That's the road I'm talking about.
Oh.
And that road was so bad. And a lot of folks, a lot of Gator fans park in neighborhoods adjacent to that road on football games because, of course, we have very limited parking for football, like just about every other SEC school, frankly. So because, stadiums are built in neighborhoods nowadays or off campus or on campus in very small areas, and there's not a lot of parking. So you park in these little neighborhoods that are all around. It's kind of cool, actually. But it's a little bit of a walk. And that road, it connects Newberry Road or University Avenue to 8th Avenue. And the Gino road builders kicked butt. And that's all I was just saying is how impressed I was with Gino.
Donald on the Titan MR text line says, JC, do you have any Memorial Day weekend for us?
Well, Memorial Day weekend picks. I'll tell you what. I'll throw them up on the ad.
All right, real quick. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Go check them out. Peachlanddental.com. All right, so you got the picks.
It kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I can check what my pending is right now in Hard Rock.
Okay, so tonight the Knicks are playing the Pacers. Who you got?
But that one's. I don't know how you can ignore the Indiana Pacers getting 8.5 points after what just happened in game one, which was one of the biggest collapses in the history of the game. And Indiana is a team that gets very little respect for whatever reason. You got a Hall of Fame coach, okay? They got guys who can light it up from everywhere. Halliburton is on fire. He's Reggie Miller part 2. And I don't see why the Knicks, who are a tired basketball team, should be given 8.5 points. That just doesn't. So if we're going to take a side, I would take that. And I'd look at the under, and I think the under would have hit if it hadn't gone to overtime, which it should not have gone. I mean, we're talking about a team that was up 14 points with 2 minutes to go. They were up 7 points with 30 seconds to go, or 9 points, or something like that, and lost. That is a fluke. Now, I think Indiana is going to play better so that they don't get into that position. I would take the points with Indiana, no doubt about it. And as far as hockey goes, I don't see Edmonton losing twice in Dallas, but I'll tell you right now, if the Stars play like they did in the third period of that first game, they will win again tonight. They are that talented and that deep. So Edmonton better not get careless, give the Stars power plays, because they were up 3-1 in that game going into the third period. They gave Dallas 3 straight power plays. That is suicidal. You can't get careless like that. I do think you can look at another over in that game, but I do think the Florida Panthers are going to either sweep or win in 5, but I think they're going to win it in 4. And I like the Pacers getting the 8.5. I've got the Knicks on a series bet to win it in 7 and in 6, and for the series to go over 5.5. I think you can still get that, but they better win tonight. If the Knicks lose tonight, I may not get any of those props, and that would really make me sad.
Gino says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellall, thanks for the nice words, JC. We should become Gator golf boosters since QB is a board member.
I think we do that, Gino. I think we do that in July. July, for some reason, is ringing a bell for me. And by the time we get there in July, they will already won back-to-back.
Hey, just be careful. Just be careful. If we happen to win the national title, the price may go up.
Well, for guys like Gene, that's not a factor. Even though he wants you to think it is, it's not. But Gene could buy the damn pro shop, okay? If he wanted to, he could.
All right, JC, give us an Indianapolis 500 pick.
I couldn't tell you who's even racing. I'll say
some guy got in trouble because he was cheating.
AJ
put him in the back of the line.
AJ Foyt will beat Johnny Rutherford. Gordon Johncock and Al Unser Jr. will be right behind him. How's that? That's when I used to watch that stuff. Right now, a lot of the drivers who are racing are unknown commodities to me. I just don't follow it like I used to. Sorry.
You used to follow it?
AJ Foyt,
Well,
Johnny Rutherford, Al Unser Jr. Well, name me 5 drivers from the good old days.
Well, what I'm saying is you named a bunch of Americans, except maybe Mario Andretti. Nowadays, I don't even know. I mean, you probably couldn't name one person.
Mario Andretti's an American. What are you kidding me?
He is?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's an Italian descent. Mario Andretti, Michael Andretti. I'm pretty sure. No, actually, I think he's South American. But at any rate.
He's not from America.
No. I think his he's not. Okay. Well,
I don't know. I'm just saying.
You just said he wasn't from America.
Well, we're going to look it up right now.
Well, he had a kid named Michael Andretti who was outstanding as well. Tell me where he's from, though. I got to know this on this show. I mean, people are sitting here with bated breath. What's your Google say? What's it say?
Well, I'm waiting. He's from Italy.
Well, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I mean. All right, like I said, today, what is today? May 22nd, 23rd. What a disaster.
You say that, but I guarantee you we got people that enjoyed the show today. I threw out all the basketball that you could want, talked about the White House, gave you odds, gave you baseball, gave you golf, talked about hockey better than any 2 guys in Gainesville can talk hockey. Well, 1 guy, I should say. So, I mean, it was a great 30-minute segment. Now you're going to sit there and you're going to talk about the basketball team. I'm all good. I think it's worth talking about. They won the national championship.
We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about their experience
to Washington. Yeah. Washington D.C. And
Ruben Chinyelu was crawling through the tunnels of the Capitol. I don't know if you saw that. He opened up one of the.
I'm really glad he's
to the floor.
I'm really glad he's coming back, man, because I really kind of liked him. I really did. He was one of my favorite players, actually. But Elijah Martin, I think, was my favorite. Many people loved Walter Clayton as their favorite. And I thought, and watch out for Urban. Watch out for Urban.
Urban didn't make the trip.
I know, but watch out for Urban.
He was back home.
Watch out for Urban next year.
There's the picture. Are you watching, JC? You see the picture of Ruben in the tunnel there?
I only see
you. Can't see it.
But I will tell you this. Urban's gonna be a big key next year.
Yeah.
He's gonna play a lot.
All right. We're gonna go to somebody that knows what he's talking about. JC, have a great weekend. We'll see you later. That's JC Dorrance on the Titan More
Oh,
Hotline,
yes.
courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get a recap, step by step, what the Gators did up in D.C. from Chris Harry. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother, Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand.
We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers,
And go Gators.
No, growing up in Gainesville, definitely different, especially having the University of Florida there. It was basically like a dream of everybody's, growing up to just have an opportunity to play at the University of Florida. So everybody doesn't have that, the opportunity to do so. So I just feel like me being able to give back to the city that helped me, become the player and person I am today. It's like, why not just go back and give back? You just become a great person, not just a great athlete or not just a great, teacher or anything, just a great person in general, having those attributes and those type of characteristics just help people just become better people. So that's what I'm trying to do, help the youth just become great.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Cracker is the brand for original Floridians, great food and southern hospitality in the center of the universe. Brooksville, Florida, FloridaCracker.com. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. It's our man, Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Good morning, Chris. How you doing, my man?
Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Good. Let's recap this trip. Did you ever go? Wait, you weren't working for FloridaGators.com when Billy was here, right? You were just
Correct.
covering the team.
Well,
right?
yeah, no, I was. Yeah, but I mean, never with a national championship.
That's where I was going.
I came after the fact, right?
Okay, so this is the first time you've gone with the national championship team. Just kind of give us the breakdown how the trip went and what you liked the most about it.
Well, to be specific, in 1997, after the Gators won the national championship, the Spurrier-Danny Werfel season in 96, they went to the White House when Bill Clinton was president. And I was the beat writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Robbie Andrew and I went, and we were the two media boys. Saw us that went to that one, and that was cool. But it's different when you're on the inside. So to travel up there with the team and our traveling party that we went with, just to explain how it was. I mean, it's a one-day thing. We had a group from here flies up, and you got to understand, like half the team is scattered all around the country, being either for the summer Like the only people I think who were on our flight, the players, Ruben, he was here. Sam Alexis was here. Denzel was here. I don't remember if Will joined us here or up there. But I mean, like Walt and Elijah and Kondo, Tommy was coming in from Pennsylvania. He's home for the summer. Those guys are all flown in, and we flew into Dulles and drove and picked them up at their hotel and went to the Capitol for the tour that was given by Congresswoman Camrick. And that was really, really cool. I mean, again, I was born in DC. I went on a lot of field trips to these monuments and stuff over, during my whole time growing up there. But to get the kind of first class treatment and special attention that we got, and to see faces on some of these tourists as this, Ali is walking through the rotunda and all this stuff, and he's got it was Walter Clayton being pulled aside for selfies. He was very gracious about that. And then the whole White House thing, we got to see a good portion of the White House. Was really, really cool. And the guys got invited into the Oval Office by Trump after his presentation, which was obviously that was something once in a lifetime stuff for those guys.
Yeah, one of my favorite pictures was Ruben in the tunnel. Was that the Capitol?
Yeah. I posted that. Well, see, they explained to us that was in the Lincoln. That was in the Capitol. It was in the Lincoln Library, and the guy said, like, apparently a couple months ago, a freshman senator from North Carolina, had seen it for the first time and posted it, and nobody had ever really made a big deal out of it before. But there's some of those things all around the Capitol, okay? And it used to be a way to get people in and out of there back. And I think that tunnel was from the early 1800s. So you see, if you put that picture back up, you can see on the back of the people were saying, why are you saying there's tunnels? Why are you telling everyone about the secret tunnels? So I mean, look at that lid underneath it. A bunch of people have signed it. So a lot of people have been down in that hole before. And to see Ruben get down there, Micah went down there too. He's 2 or 3 inches taller. Yeah. But you walk down there, you walk around a little bit and come and pop back out of it. I didn't do it, not with my old ass knees. I wasn't going to deal with that stuff. But those guys, it was really cool. But again, the experience, you get to go to the White House, man, and we met Speaker Johnson. He came and talked to the team. He told us about he went to LSU while Shaq and Chris Jackson were there, and he told us he said he was at the 2019 White House visit for Joe Burrow and that LSU team. And he said he's telling President Fox, he's going, look, they're telling you it's an hour. He goes, get ready for it to be longer with him because he would just let them go wherever they want. He starts doing a Trump impersonation like Mike Johnson did. Let them go wherever they want. And he said Trump asked Coach O, you want to say something here at the White House? You want to say something, people? He said he does an impersonation. He goes, Coach O just ducks into the mic, goes, "Go Tigers." So I mean, this. And then the guy went and worked on his big beautiful bill and tried to pass $4 trillion and whatever. So they had stuff going on, but they made time for the Gators that day. And again, I'm really, really glad I got to go and glad I got to experience on that front.
Brian's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. I know there's respect from the team towards Aberdeen with the decision to go to Kentucky, but if there's any good nature ribbing going on about that decision, just curious if there was some friendly banter about that or if that didn't even come up at all.
If there was, I didn't hear it. And I mean, those guys, I don't know if you saw what Todd said yesterday. I know, there are some people that are just idiotic, mean-spirited jackasses saying stuff about Denzel, even being allowed to be with the group. And somebody asked Todd, And some people asked Todd about it yesterday because Sam also went. Sam's transferring to Indiana. Right. He was on that trip also. And, Todd goes, hey, we're not petty. He goes, those guys were a big part of our team. We wanted them there. Their teammates wanted them there, and they deserve to be there. Mm-hmm. So the "we're not petty" was a nice way to maybe shoot back at some people out there who are. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, it happens all the time.
I'm doing some stuff for a review of the season, and you go back, man. Denzel made some big plays, man, and during the season. And he averaged 14.5 points. He shot 41% from three during the 5 games he started in the middle of the season when those guys were hurt. So, let's give that guy some grace. And he had a opportunity to do some stuff that will take care of him for a long time, and take care of his family, and that if that opportunity wasn't going to be afforded him to. Yes, he could have come back and been the starting point guard, but Florida's moved on, and they've moved on in a good way, I think.
Yeah,
And
Dan's
that's not a
question.
shot at Denzel. Good luck to him.
Yeah, Dan wants to know, Chris, did you and the team have to go through background checks for the trip by the Secret Service or someone?
Yeah, absolutely. You had to provide, information, and a couple guys, so Will and I'm trying to think. It was Will, and it may have been an assistant coach. Their names didn't match exactly. Like Will Richard showed up on their list, and he was William Thomas Richard instead of Will Thomas Richard or something. And so he had to wait a little extra time at the guard shack, if you were, while they were checking. But yeah, we had to provide that a good maybe couple weeks in advance.
I thought one of the coolest things I saw, Chris, and I don't know if you put it on Twitter or whoever was in charge of the basketball deal, where the guy playing
The
the guitar
band.
and the violin playing
Yeah.
Won't Back Down. How
That was
cool is
me.
that?
Yeah. I mean, that's when you walk into the White House. They had those little acoustic people set up there playing that, and they played, and they played to the Gators. They played the fight song and that kind of, and acoustically they played "We Are the Champions" up in the band for that. They played the Florida fight song. But the "Won't Back Down" in with the violin and the acoustic guitar was special. I mean, people walking in, they stopped and watched and listened to it because those people were really, really good, and it was a really classy touch. I thought. You're right.
All right. Well, Boogie Flan's all signed up, sealed, and delivered.
That's
I don't
right.
know if you got to talk to him or whatever, but I saw a
Have
clip
not. No.
of him and Todd. I think he was here right before y'all left. Man, that clip that I saw on Twitter, you can just tell the relationship, and you know, sometimes this term is taken the wrong way, a
Players
player's
coach.
coach.
Yeah, I
But
knew that was coming. Yeah.
I could just see that. Like Todd's like one of the guys, kind of.
hmm And it's funny. I was talking. My wife saw that clip too. We were out to dinner last night. We were just talking about it a little bit, talking about the same thing, and it reminded me kind of. I mean, the interaction is so natural, and the connection is instantaneous. And a couple years ago, when Walt got here, I wrote a really long, I want to say 3,500 word story about him because I knew what his impact was going to be, and I just wanted to find out about as much as I could about him. So I talked to a lot of people and tried to write a really informative story. But on his official visit from Iona, his mom was here, and Todd took the group over to a football practice, a spring football practice. And she goes, I'm sitting there watching, and the mom was explaining, sitting there watching, and Todd goes over and grabs a football and starts chucking it around the field with Walt, after practice and stuff. And she said it just felt so natural, and that's part of the connection. You know what I'm saying? And Walt's a great football player, and here's this guy, throwing, you know, throwing passes to him and running around and stuff like that. And it's not stuff that's thought out. It's just part of who he is. And again, I think I've said this before on the show. Every time we talk to a team after the game, after Florida won a game this year, it almost, whether it was Chris Beard or Calipari or Buzz Williams, they all talked about the elite roster construction of this basketball team, and part of that is matching personalities. So we'll see. I mean, by all accounts, and I hear Boogie Flan is from New York City. Okay, he was a top 25 player. He was a McDonald's All-American in his high school class. He signed with Kentucky, changed his mind, went to Arkansas. So all these things are out there. But what you hear, what I heard from is they did their background check, and they said he was a great teammate. And that's going to matter because if you recall, when as good as Elijah Martin was, they had to pass that teammate test. And when he came here on his official visit last year, Todd sent him out with Will and Walt and said, "You guys figure it out, and you guys let me know what you take the pulse on this guy." And everything turned out great, as we know. And hopefully, similar circumstances. Florida's going to be a top 5 team preseason, assuming Alex Condon comes back, of course.
I think they'll still be a top 10, even if Alex doesn't come
Top
back.
10, top 10, but they're going to have to do something. They said they was asked about it yesterday. He said they have a contingency plan if he doesn't, and that contingency plan, I don't know if it means getting another guy. I would think it would. They have one spot, they would have two, but I mean, you just can't water the ground and have a 6'11", 10.7 rebound guy grow. So we'll see what happens with that. But that decision, what is today? Today is the 23rd. They're supposed to know something probably in the next 3 days on Alex.
I wanted to ask you, I think a lot of Gator people that watch this show may not be familiar with this, but we don't talk NBA a lot on this show, but the Oklahoma City Thunder is a phenomenal story. And their
Mhm.
coach was on Billy's staff, and I don't know if
Mhm.
people know that. Tell us a little bit
Let me see.
about Mark Dagnall.
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 Yeah. I actually texted him last night and said, "Hey, if Florida wins in softball, I'll be out there Tuesday. If there's game 5, if necessary, Wednesday." He goes, "You just worry about the Gators. We'll get you into the game." So I get, I also made sure to say, I hope there isn't a game 5,
Right.
but yeah, I actually spent time at their house a couple times last week. Now, Ashley Kerr was a excellent gymnast here. They met when they were grad students here. Now, Todd, it was a job that was created, I want to say, in the summer of 2010, and Mark was hired as a assistant to the head coach. So that position was created for Mark Dagnall, and he was here 4 seasons. And then he left to go to Oklahoma City when the G League started as their G League head coach. I want to say he was 30 years old. Sam Presti hired him. But Sam Presti would come here and watch how Billy did stuff, and of course he was on his radar for some time. But that's how Sam and Mark connected. Mark became the G League coach. Mark became an assistant to Billy eventually, and when Billy didn't want to be part of that rebuild, losing on purpose stuff, and they promoted Mark from G League coach to head coach, and he is one of the smartest, one of the most intellectually sound, and one of the best guys that I've dealt with since I've been in this position. And I'm really, really happy for him. He's a great guy, and he is the best. I don't think there's any doubt. I think he's the best branch on the Billy Donovan coaching tree for
Yeah, I
sure.
agree with that. So I just wanted to mention that. All right,
Yeah,
before we let you go, Chris, softball today cranks up against Georgia in the Super Regional, and here we are once again expecting the
you
Gators
going?
to go back.
You going?
Yeah, I'll probably be out there a little bit. I also have golf today, so uh,
Oh yeah,
I
okay,
don't
yeah,
know. I don't
tough,
know what it is. It's
tough, tough,
Georgia's.
tough, tough, tough life for the former
Well,
NFL
it's the
quarterback. Yeah.
weekend, so Georgia's kind of flown under the radar. I mean, I mean, we should beat them, but you
hmm
saw 2 upsets last night
hmm
in women's college
What
softball.
happened last night? I did not. So who
Texas Tech with the $1 million pitcher went into Tallahassee and won game
and beat
one
him?
against Florida State, and then Clemson went to Texas and beat the Lady
Wow.
Longhorns in game
Oh
one.
wow.
So
Okay. Okay.
both road teams have won in the games that have been played. But just talk about, I mean, Tim Walton has done a phenomenal job. I mean, we could sit here for hours and talk about what he's done with this program. But this team, if Keegan Rothrock pitches well, I think they can win it all.
Yeah, and again, the what's held them back so that little stretch was they were so top heavy in offense in the order for whatever it was it 3 years or so 4 years. That's obviously not the case. That started last year with the arrival of some of these players, but the arrival of the two pitchers last year. Now they're sophomores. Now Tim has been saying Keegan's gonna get better the more she pitches. Well, maybe she should pitch more, but we'll see how he handles his pitchers. But that offensive was on display obviously last week. Now region, I mean Florida's what 33-1 in regionals since he's been here. Never lost one except for that one year with it never hasn't lost one since 2012. So 33-1 since 2013. Super regional is a different animal. Obviously Georgia's come in here twice before in
Mhm.
2016, and when Florida was the number one overall seed, and won on a walk-off homer in game 2, ended Florida's 2-year reign of national championships. And they won here in 2021, but that 21 Florida team couldn't hit. I don't know I don't know a whole lot about Georgia. I know that they have, I think they're 7-16 or something like that
They
in
didn't win a,
conference play.
they did not win a series all season.
That's correct. And they didn't play. I think they only played two of the top. Florida finished sixth in the SEC this year, as good as they were. But I think Florida played four of the top five teams ahead of them, right?
Mhm.
Georgia only played two of the top five teams. And I think one of the A&M series, I think a game got canceled. I think they're going to play a 2-game series because of weather or whatever. But I don't know how battle tested Georgia is, but I don't think it matters. They get to this point. They beat Duke last week. Duke was the 14th seed. They went in there and beat them. So, Florida's been really, really good, obviously, when it comes to playing at home. 11 o'clock start, you kind of hope people will come out. That's a kind of a difficult starting time or whatever, but we know how loyal fans are here. So the bottom line is the Gators can hit. If they hit, they ought to be able to take care of business this week and maybe even do so in 2 games, I would think.
Real quick, we only got a few minutes left, but I talked with Tim last week about it. I don't know if I've ever seen athlete from their freshman to their sophomore year make the jump like Mia Williams did. I mean, she has just been raking at the plate. I know I don't know how much you talk to White Chocolate, but what is his thoughts about how she's gone from a freshman to a sophomore, how well she's performing?
I asked him, and he said, I said, what will she? I asked him last week. I go, what's she going to ask when I talk? He goes, she goes, you need to ask her. So, but she doesn't like talking about it. Apparently, she doesn't like talking about what she did last year because I mean, what's she 167? I think she had, maybe 18 RBIs, maybe 12 or some number like that. Shane, man, she's hitting 360. She's got, I think, 17 homers, is it?
Yeah.
50 some RBIs. So she's making that jump. What if Taylor Shoemaker makes that jump?
Oh.
that kind of jump next year. But yeah, I mean, and what happened with like Mia Williams is one of the reasons this offense, like you talking about raking, yeah, because there isn't no hole. There are no holes in this offensive order where, like I said, a few years ago, if you got past the 4 or 5 spot, they're just battling to turn the lineup over. You can't do that anymore. And last week, Tim batted Corbiotis 7th.
I saw
just
that.
to kind of mix things up a little bit relative to he plugged in a lineup. He was trying to get to a lineup that was hitting this. He plugged it in a computer and said, try hitting this. You're not going to walk this player intentionally and you're going to get to Corbiotis. So he was just mixing some things up, give the opponents some things to think about. But the jump Mia's made is fantastic. She was all SEC for a reason. So terrific for her.
Yep, been awesome. Chris, appreciate your time. Got any good stuff Harry Fodder's working on that people can read?
I wrote a couple. Todd did his a press conference, first one since the national championship celebration yesterday, and I did some bullet items to update some people on where things stand. Maybe they can read it and get some enhancement for what you and I just talked about. So check out our website. I also wrote a little thing about the Florida Georgia series. So I'll be out there all weekend to cover the Super Region, and then I'll be in Oklahoma City next week, assuming the Gators advance.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day. I meant to ask you this before you leave. Did y'all get like any kind of like souvenir or anything from the White House?
Players got a commemorative Trump coin, which is big. He goes, you need to save it. It'll be worth something one day. Yes, it's a beautiful coin. Beautiful coin. Greatest coin ever.
You didn't get one? Just
I didn't get one.
Just
players got them. Yeah. Right. Players and the coaches got them. Yeah.
Appreciate your time, my friend. We'll see you out.
Take care, Shane. All right, man.
That's Chris Harry. Join us on the Titan Mar Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you. 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. Have a great weekend, folks. 11 o'clock today, Gator softball. Golf will be cranking up here soon. I don't know exactly what time lacrosse plays North Carolina. That's on TV as well. But we appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate Chris and JC. Have a great weekend. Take care.